recording. Yeah.
Otherwise,
we don't want to miss.
Got it. We don't want to miss any of the good stuff.
Gold. That's right.
Gold.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well. How is everybody doing over there? Look at you guys are well into your Halloween decorations, I see.
Yes. It's my favorite season. Spooky season's my favorite season of the year. Christmas is second, but I love Halloween.
Yeah.
I get it. I know. Well, it's nice to come out of summer into something right away because you can't wait till Christmas. So it's nice to have like this to get something about or excited about. That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you have any, every time you try and drink, Ben, I'm going to talk to you. I dated a girl years ago, and the first time I had dinner with the family, every time I tried to eat, her father would ask me a question. And I filed it away, and I was like, I will have kids one day. I'm going to do this to whoever they do.
And then you kind of never finish your meal. What he's doing is testing you. He's saying, will you talk to me while you chew?
Yeah.
Or will you sacrifice your hunger to finish the conversation? Right?
That relationship.
Or will you do this?
It didn't work.
Or will you do this, which I love too? You just chew and you go.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a bold.
And you wait a full. Yeah. Well, it also signifies. Don't ask me a question until I.
So here in Philadelphia, we use a different finger to signify.
Whatever.
I just walked in from the gym, so I've got my little healthy protein shake, and I haven't showered, and my hair is a mess. I was laughing. I was looking at myself. I look like. Do you remember when Garth Brooks went Chris Gaines?
Yeah, the alter ego, of course.
I actually thought that was like a weird thing he did to come out with an album, but it was a movie he was filming.
Yeah.
And it was very smart. And the funding never finished or something happened, but they were filming it. He was playing this other rock star guy. Then he came out with the album. The movie never came out, but it was this weird blip where you're like, why is Garth Brooks pretending to be Chris Gaines?
Yeah. He was like the biggest performer.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah, Garth Brooks was the biggest performer in the world.
It was the big. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he just went. Now I want to do this kind of music.
I think that's awesome.
I think it's great. Are you saying that you feel like you look like that right now, like your post gym?
You take a look at what Garth Brooks looked like as Chris Gaines, and it was like I'll show you. He looked like this.
Yeah,
with like
little emo.
Eyeliner.
That's what I was like. That's a little like Panic at the Disco.
Yeah,
like very emo.
No, it's Garth Brooks. Emo. He went Goth Brooks is what he went.
Goth Brooks.
Ben, what would you name your alter ego if you were like, look, I'm going to do some more spicy programming for Hallmark? I don't know, for whatever.
For Hallmark?
For whatever, but like, what alter ego would you have?
No, I wouldn't need an alter ego. That's what characters are for. Characters are my alter ego. I get to. That's the cool thing. I get to remain the same, man, and I get to dip into each one of the characters. So those spicy characters come. And it is the best part. It's why I did this. It's like I get to, and sometimes you get to play somebody else, but you're just doing versions of yourself and expanding on a version of yourself you might not necessarily fully express. And that's kind of the best part. It can be a bit of a cathartic experience as to be an actor, to get to go in and fully feel something or put yourself. In fact, in the Christmas movie we're filming now, I joked yesterday on Friday, I said, this is the first time I actually feel like I am in a Hallmark movie.
Oh, interesting.
It's just the set deck is incredible on this one in particular. We're all dressed up. We're in this house, this beautiful house. We were playing these games, and it just like, I felt like I was inside of a Hallmark movie. Usually, like there's, I'm so aware of the camera. And it was just because the cameras were far away and the way they were shooting it. It was beautiful. I'm really, really, really excited for everybody to see this one. It's got all the warm cozies.
I love it. Do you feel this one will end with a crowded kiss? Because that's Kristin's favorite. If there isn't like a crowd watching the end kiss, Chris doesn't count it.
This is a different kind of ending. So our movie is a Dayspring movie. You guys know Dayspring?
I don't.
They're a Christian card company, and they have collaborated with Hallmark in the past to make movies with them. Last year they did 2 movies. Nikki DeLoach and Brennan Elliott did one.
Okay.
And they dealt with a lot of heavy topics of loss and grief and faith.
Okay.
And this year they wanted to try to go kind of the other way with it and swing a little more comedic. So
okay.
we're going, and it's a very interesting balance that has yet to be determined how it's going to air. But I can tell you that each take we've done many different ways. So there's been much more dramatic versions of it. We've done very comedic, broad versions of some of the scenes.
Wow.
And even like, in Field Day, did you guys watch Field Day last night?
Yeah.
We were very, it's like, here comes this kiss, but we're like, how do we want this kiss to be? And you're always trying to, I'm like, we're at school, her daughter's nearby.
Right.
Like you kind of want this big passionate thing. And I was like, instead of it being about the kiss, I'm going to whisper things into your ear that are almost better than what the kiss will be. So I like added like sexy and all these things that I thought were almost more intimate than the kiss, which we've seen a bunch. And I was like, well, have the kiss. That said, we did a couple versions of the kiss, and the one they used was one that was a little more respectful, given that.
Yeah.
I think that we were at school, it made sense. Exactly.
Yeah.
School kiss.
It was a nice balance of the two. It was a school kiss. You know those schoolyard kids.
School. Yeah. High school.
Yeah.
Do you we're curious, with it being holiday season, do you have traditions that you kind of adhere to in the Ayres household? Do you like trick-or-treating, whatnot?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, they're very excited. So because I'm away right now and there's a lot going on in the house, I've been in charge of getting their costumes together. So
Ooh.
Evie wants to be Maleficent. So I've been compiling that and sending stuff back through Amazon. And Isadora's is a bit more difficult because she wants to be my Melody. And oftentimes it's, this full onesie outfit, but they're coming from China. It takes a long time to arrive. So I'm like, we're going to have to pivot a bit. You're going to have to come up with something else. So I'm still trying to solve that one before I return.
How old? Real quick, how old are the kids?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
11 and 8. So 11 kind of is over it.
Yeah. Free candy. You come back around.
That's what I said. I'm like, what are you talking about? You get to go wander around at night, get candy, and just kind of get into some trouble. So yeah, she'll come back around. But she's going to, she'll hang out with her friends and do her thing. Or what they want to do is watch a horror film at the house.
Yeah.
If they need recommendations,
right.
I am an expert of horror films. So
are you? So we watched. It's funny because it's like a fine balance. They can't watch anything too scary.
Yeah.
But we flew out to Vancouver in the summer, and it was really cute. Isadora and I. So it was just me and my daughters flew out, and then Aaron met us. And Evie was in the middle watching whatever she was watching. So I think she was watching Lion King. And Isadora's on the other side of me, and she's like, she really wanted me to watch Megan. You guys watch Megan?
Creepy. Yeah.
It was creepy, right? So we would watch it at the same time. We're like, and go. And if she had to go pee, we'd pause it at the same time when drinks came by. It was great. It was fun to do that.
That's
so we're
awesome.
I'll
highly
probably
recommend
some movie like Megan. Go ahead.
Well, I highly recommend also the Goosebumps series that just came out on Disney is awesome. And it's
really?
A cool mix of like, because I read all those books, but like I feel like it's actually kind of like it's dark. Like there's dark themes, and it's actually quite gruesome, but like also still for like teens, if that makes sense. Like because the Goosebumps,
it's almost like Black Mirror, but like tween Black Mirror.
Yeah. Wildly different.
Very.
Although
like,
I must say,
Off-White Mirror. It's nothing like Black Mirror. It's funny because we were in the same boat. I have a 9-year-old. My daughter Kit she's very into zombies on Disney as well, which is the musical.
That's also filmed in Toronto, so we know some of the people, which is a big deal. That still gets played a lot, and I love those movies.
But that was it. Like my daughter was focused on what her costume was going to be, and one night we said, "Hey," because we kind of want to get her watching, not scary, but like a little bit, like take that next step. So we said, we think you would like Beetlejuice, because my daughter likes comedy and stuff. So we watched Beetlejuice, and by the end of it, she said, "Now I want to be Lydia." So it changed everything.
Wow, that's cool.
So my wife put that whole costume together, and it's ready to go.
Kevin,
good. And now, what about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh yeah, she's been watching that since she was about 4.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah,
that's a great one.
Were you serious when you said I could come as Beetlejuice? Because I bought half the costume already.
You only bought half in case I wasn't. You totally could. Julie and I are going to be Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, the Maitlands. We already have our costumes, so absolutely you can do that.
Okay, yeah. I'm coming.
Which version? You got the stretchy mask?
You got it. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
and it's funny too, because my daughter's 9, and we chose the costumes, my wife and I, for many years, and it was always themed. And then my daughter decided, no, I'm autonomous. Let me decide what I want to be. And we're like, are we part of this? And a lot of times the answer is no, you are not. But she was fine with it this year, and we're grasping on and like, hold on to it. It's probably the last year.
Kevin, you can always dress me up. I'll go out as whatever you want me to.
It doesn't do it for me. You're easy. Did you have any Halloween costumes throughout the years, Ben, that were just like really?
You know what? We had some of those onesies that we'd walk around, and I was a giant shark. Aaron was a unicorn, and it was like, because it's also really cold in Toronto, usually at Halloween. So it's like a nice big cozy warm thing to wear. Little cocktails at some of the houses, that kind of thing, while the kids run around. I've done, last year I did go as kind of an 80s rocker because Isadora was so into Stranger Things. So she was a Stranger Things character. So I kind of went with her as sort of like an 80s, just basically a version of me from the 80s.
Yeah.
And then this year, honestly, I don't have plans yet. I'll put something together when I get back.
Okay.
Yeah. Please post pictures.
But I got to get back. Like even seeing the decorations, because I'm like, I got to get home and decorate, do all the stuff and get ready for it.
Yeah.
So we do this show at Comedy Sports where it's like the blue show. So we do like, it's a dirtier version of our regular show. So we have to dress up the Halloween one in blue colored costumes.
Right.
So I've done Ted Lasso. I was Michael Myers last year. And this year I'm going to be the Shining twins. And this is going to be the other twin. I'm going to dress her up.
That's amazing.
If I could, I wish I could go to like 30 Halloween parties. Because then last night, my buddy was telling me, he's like, oh, I would totally go as the orange and the powder blue tux from Dumb and Dumber with you. And I was like,
that's a good one.
Let's do it.
That's a good one.
Kristin, that doll, did you get that at like a secondhand store?
Oh yeah, it's haunted.
It is 100% haunted. It's a possessed doll.
That doll was $2. So someone really didn't want that doll.
I remember the best one, as you said that, there's something about the Shining Twins. I was like, what's the best costume I've ever been in? And I remember in Vancouver, I was probably 28 and I was bartending at the time. And this friend of mine she worked in the film industry and did makeup. And I was like, I want to go, I don't even know what it is, but I want to be like sort of like I had seen this most insane horror film that I won't even explain, except for the fact it was like, we went into this, it was called Black Dog Video, one of those like independent owned DVD shops. And I walked in, love your mug, love the and she says, I said, give us the craziest horror film. And he's like, oh yeah, man, you're gonna love this Korean film. So disturbing, about this butcher who's killing people and feeding it to people. Like he basically kills them, cooks them, and people are coming and loving these things, right? He ends up going to it's right, yeah. He ends up going to prison and gets out by like chewing through his wrist, all this crazy stuff. So there was something about that I wanted to do. So she put all of this stuff on my arms that I could eat, and the skin would come off and blood would come off. And then my head, I had this like bald cap on with tufts of hair that were burnt. So I sort of looked like a burn victim that was also eating myself.
Yeah.
And I started at the bar I was working at, and then just left and went to a bunch of bars, and I won 3 different best costume awards that night. But I went with nobody, and I would just arrive, and I was the creepiest, weirdest. Like, while everybody's having a good time, I was like eating my arm, doing this weird dance, get on the stage, collect my money, go to the next party. It was amazing. And this very strange experience by myself, meandering down the streets of Vancouver, eating myself.
That's a good costume though, especially to start as like the bartender who's like serving drinks with the arm you can eat is like, I love it. So
this episode went from Chris Gaines to Ed Gaines. So it's a very weird episode.
We're just full circle, sort of. I don't know.
We were when I was a kid, it was like 1986. My mom, we had seen the Three Amigos. So me, my brother, and my good friend Jim went as the Three Amigos. My mom made all of the costumes. And that was without a doubt my high water mark until Julie and I had Kit, and we could make her do whatever we wanted, and we went as the Beastie Boys specifically from the Fight for Your Right video. Yeah, and it was like that. We'll never hit that high watermark again.
Yeah, no.
That's amazing.
But I
as
did
a kid, I was a huge Batman fan.
Oh yeah,
loved Joker, so I wanted that face so bad, and I was like, I would do it in the mirror, and I would try to, and like I'm like, okay, Mom, you got to paint it on me. And she painted it on. I felt like until I'd see the reflection, I was like, it doesn't look like him at all. And I felt so bad because I remember going to school, and my mom, she puts on like white makeup with like the red lipstick, and I was so embarrassed to say that I can't go to school looking like this. Like I felt like I looked like a woman who's in drag, So I like left the house kind of in my costume, and then got to school, went right to the bathroom, and wiped it all off.
Oh no!
So bad.
Do you have pictures? Listen. If you send pictures over, we'll put them in.
You had said that. I don't have photos of that. I mean, I might have a photo of that somewhere, but I definitely don't have that. I'm good friends with you've probably seen online Drew Scott, the Property Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Drew and Jonathan. And they post these photos of like their life has been documented since birth in like this most insane way. Like I feel like every couple of days they're posting these incredible photos of when they were young and camping and doing this stuff. Mind you, his father was in the film industry, was a first AD and cinematographer. So I think maybe just always had a camera around.
Probably,
but I don't have a lot of documentation of all of those things as a kid growing up. The cat too, love it over there.
That's great.
He's always on the show. He's an attention whore like his mother. So that's what. Good God. Okay. So let's talk. I mean, I'm clearly wearing and supporting the swag. Whenever I do this, I feel like. Do you guys remember in Wayne's World when Garth was wearing all the Pepsi and the Reebok gear? That's what I feel like when I have.
Well, no, when he goes, they stop the whole thing. They talk about the pizza. It's the best.
It's so good. So it's almost Christmas season. Are you guys in, I'm trying to think, year 2 of Romance University? Or is this the second or is this only the second Christmas?
This will be the first Christmas.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
So.
Because I know it was a whole thing because I'm like, I launched it, which was just the hoodie on December 31st. So I was like, oh, this is kind of like, because everybody saw it at the convention, everybody's going to want one of the hoodies or a t-shirt. So I kind of launched it and then realized, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll kind of keep going with it. So now, of course, it's become a whole other thing. And in some ways, it's great because it gave me time to really understand what the brand is and get ready for the real season, which is the
great. Awesome.
Do you have things that are coming out that we could tease?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have, so one of the things, obviously, what I wanted to be able to do was to be able to embroider things, right? So that not just print it, but have it embroidered. But the crest itself is so difficult to embroider because it's too complicated. There's too much going on. There's too many details. I've spoken to so many different suppliers, and they're like, we can't do it with the crest.
Yeah.
For the holiday season, I came up with a new crest, and I was like, well, there needs to be some sort of mascot for the brand. Like, what's the best mascot for the holiday season? I was like, obviously, it's a deer. Yeah. So the new crest has a deer in it, and then that way I was able to remove the deer, and then just the antlers and the heart are kind of
nice.
What
I love it.
So this will be sort of on a few items that I'm going to have. And then, of course, the crest will be the same, but it's going to have it's a full Christmas crest in new colors. And because I'm going to be in an actual physical store in Toronto, there will be products in that store that I won't have there you go. You got them all.
I'm the only one who doesn't have it. I'll represent this right now. This is
Webster Woolly.
It's so good. You have no idea. So is it a Canadian thing to call them woolies? Because we call them beanies.
So no, we call them. Do you know what it is? I call them beanies or toques too. But what it is was how did it start with Victor? Victor he wears like this color of toque, and I have one too. Beanie. Yeah. And I can't even remember why I said I'm going to send you one. I sent him the very first one.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
He gave me his address, and I said it's funny. He gave me his address and he said send it to Chuck Norris So I literally sent Chuck Norris to his address in Vancouver, and then he's like it's the Webster Woolly. I'm like, that's what I'm calling it.
That's great.
So
Yeah.
that was it.
Is he your model? You can put him on the website wearing it.
Oh, he is.
He is, baby.
He's everywhere,
He's a
Kevin.
model.
I love it.
Gorgeous.
He's everywhere. So,
Your mom, Kev.
No, me. I'm a huge Victor Webster fan, and my mom's
yeah.
I really like him because I talk a lot about him. I don't know why. I adore him. He's great.
No, he was awesome. Have you guys had him on the show?
No.
Yeah.
Broker that deal for us, Ben. Help us out.
I will do it. He's great. He will totally do it.
Oh my goodness.
So that was how that sort of came about. We kind of have known each other in some circles over the years, but since we reconnected in kind of a cool way in Kansas, and have kind of become like buddies. We text a lot now and kind of keep in touch, and it's nice. It's kind of one of the best parts about the convention, outside of the obvious community and getting to meet everybody, is for us to all hang out. Yeah. And oftentimes, I know a lot of the women because I've worked with them, but the men, we never get to work together.
Yeah.
So we're aware of each other peripherally, but never actually, I had never met Andrew Walker. I had never met, there's so many of them I hadn't met in person, Palaha. So in order to go to these conventions and kind of hang out backstage and go for dinners at night and stuff like that has been a lot of fun.
That's really special because it's like you have to have that sort of your own little connection back there that like you all do kind of the same thing, at least, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'm sure I never thought of it that like you get to meet all the female actresses,
of course,
you know what I mean, but you don't get to meet the other guys, and vice versa. All the girls get to meet so I'm sure it's like summer camp like thing.
It is because it's essentially like this long ongoing TV series. But then there are all these actors you haven't had a chance to work with, but we're all aware that we're at the same network doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice. And what's happened now is, we end up, I've got to be in Ottawa just for a short little stint, and Will Kemp is there, and then because we've hung out a couple times, and like, let's go and grab dinner. So it's like you sort of, now when we're in cities and we know that we're all going to be in a city, we'll all try to get together. And Niall Mater's in Winnipeg, so we went and did dinner last week, and it's awesome. I love this community, and it was one that we all talk about from the inside, which is you do one, you're like, oh, that was a cool experience, and then we kind of go on continuing doing the other things, and then they call again, and you're like, oh, but I already did one. Did they forget that I've done one? And you do another one, and then you go, oh, this is like an old school studio system. Yeah. But if they like you, you kind of keep doing movies here.
Yeah.
And once that discovery became, once I had that discovery, we all did. You're like, this is what a great place to be. So it's not sold to you in that way, or at least it wasn't then. Or at that time, because Hallmark is huge worldwide, but it for the longest time it was kind of only in the U.S. And Canada didn't even air the movie. Like, we don't have the Hallmark channel. We have the W network, and they have brokered a deal where they can air the movies. Yeah, and they get like a licensing thing, but a distribution deal. But that only started a few years ago. So when I was making Hallmark movies originally, I would get them to send me a DVD, which I could give to my mom, send to my grandma, right, so they could watch these movies.
Well, that's often on like the fan groups and stuff. People in Canada are like, well, we can't watch it. Don't spoil everything.
Yeah.
Until we can buy it on DVD.
Or it'll air like 4 or 5 days later, they'll say, and it's like, you just don't think about those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm glad. I think it is, because a lot of the folks were sharing in the groups that like, we can watch it in Canada now. That was like, well, great. That's what you should.
Which accent was that?
Yeah,
what was it? We can watch it in Canada now.
That was my. Listen, I was in Toronto for 3 days. I pick up accents. Kevin knows that I'm an expert in accents.
Well, that was not a Toronto accent. That was
that was a transplant. Yeah. She was born in Ireland. She lived in Scotland for a bit. Yeah. All over the place.
So I love this idea, because I'm a graphic designer. I love the simplicity of this, because now you can have this put on things. So are we getting like more things with this on it? Is that what's happening?
Yes, there will be more things with that on it. because I wanted to be able to, you look at that and go like, oh, that's the Romance University thing, without putting an art. And it took me a while, because I was like, for a while trying to like, oh, should there be an R and a U inside of the horns and playing with it, or should it be the heart? And I was like, no, it should just be the heart and the horns. It's simple. That, and I have leaned on you a few times for advice on things, and I appreciate your help. And it's not something. It's this incredibly uncreative endeavor for me, because I only have me to answer to. So as like wanting to, as an actor waiting for a phone call, or I have things in semi-development, or a TV series that's we're about to go pitch, but it's taken years to get to a point to even go pitch this thing. So to have something that allows me to be creative and continue to bring the community together and give back has been just an awesome feeling. So, but I'm learning a lot. So, but the big thing is that on November 30th in Toronto, I'm just going to be in an actual store. So I'm going to have different products, because it's not just an online store. It's going to be actually there. So I'm getting some help with some designers and some clothing suppliers within the Toronto area, right? Because I also have to, like, if something sells out, I have to be able to restock it quickly.
Restock it,
It's like a whole other thing. I got to figure out how to do this for this, because I'm going to be in store for a month and a half.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
At a Christmas market. It's the biggest Christmas market. Well, one of the biggest ones in the world, actually. And it takes up about 6 city blocks, and the entire thing is holiday marketed out. And there's probably 100 different vendors there. And it's this old cobblestone area. It's called the Distillery District. And within this area of Toronto, there's also this clothing store, one of the biggest clothing stores in Toronto, called Got Style. And one of the women who works there is the one who dresses Drew and Jonathan for the Property Brothers. So when I was in LA, I was there last spring. And when I go down there, I stay at their house. And Drew's like, well, you should get in stores. I'm like, how am I going to get this in stores? I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how to. And then she's like, well, Char's like, you should come to the Christmas festival, the market in Toronto. I'll get you in our store. You can do a pop-up. I was like, really? And that's how that happened. So I've been sort of building towards it. And now as it's coming up, I'm like, okay, so now we're going to have the launch party on November 30th. I've got, Laura Vanderbilt going to come out. Brittany Briscoe is going to come. I've got a couple other announcements that I have yet to announce that will be there that night. And there's going to be, booze and food. And it's just going to be like a cool party, but kind of a way to kind of launch the brand in store. And then the following day, I then fly to Vancouver. And I can sort of talk about this now because it's going to become public soon. We're doing a massive festival in Vancouver.
Oh, cool.
And it's going to be at a film studio. So it's going to be at a place where we film a lot of our movies. And it's, imagine like a backlot that looks like a small town that's going to be fully decked out in Christmas decorations. With music pumping through. And we're going to launch that with some actors as well. And that's going to run for the month of December. So like it will be a 90-minute immersive experience of what it's like to be in one of these movies. Learn a bit about how the movies are made. And then also we'll have, there'll be hot cocoa there and that whole thing. But it will essentially be a Hallmark experience, holiday movie experience that you take your family to. You drive there and you kind of walk through it, and it's for the gram and all that kind of stuff. Get some photos.
The gram.
We'll do like a little panel and stuff like that on that first day to launch that one. And then Romance University will have a presence at both of those.
Yeah. This is like huge congrats. Like, because this was just like probably a peanut of an idea in your head, and then I feel like you and the just culture and loving like of this world helped this along, and I think it's fantastic. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been the fans and the community that continue to come back and like this kind of stuff. Like I have this here. They made these little shirts, and they're traveling. There's like a bunch of them that are traveling around the world right now, and they've got these photos of these shirts and me like this, and they're taking photos in front of all these like iconic, and a lot of them have become really good friends because of it. And it's like, I mean, it makes me emotional thinking about, because it's not. I knew the second I was like, Ivy League school, but holiday, but like romance university.
Yeah.
The second the idea popped into my head, I was like, "It's genius. How do I go about doing that?" And I didn't know what it was going to be, but I just knew the idea was cool.
Yeah.
The fact that it became this, I never could have imagined. And the fact that we're coming up on a year and that there's still so far for it to go is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also we're supporting Nikki DeLoach and Ashley Williams, the Alzheimer's Association on November 12th. And we're raising a bunch of money for that as well. So Romance University has already raised over $3,000. And Rachel Boston and I are going down to Nashville, and there's going to be, it's like a big party. It's going to be, Andrew Walker and Palaha and a bunch of actors are going to be there, and it's a big party, and the whole thing is a fundraiser to raise money. Both Ashley and Nikki have lost parents to Alzheimer's, and all of the money goes towards the Alzheimer's Association. So I'm just very proud to associate with and help by using the brand, and bringing everybody in to feel like they're it's not just buying merch. It's like a really cool.
No, it's important.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah. That's why I think I think it would have been successful, but I think it's overly successful because folks feel like they're part of something when they purchase it, being the community, but also part of like helping these causes that they know that the money is going to. Yeah. And I think that's so special because then when I use and wear the stuff, I'm not just wearing something that like I bought for no reason. I bought it for like specific reasons. And then you just feel special in it, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Ben, can we interest you in playing a game with us today?
I don't even know what this game is, so I'm in the same boat as you, Ben.
What's the game?
It's the Ben game. It's called. I have 10 questions, so Ben 10. We could even say, although that's already taken. I have 10 questions. I'm going to tell you right now the answers to all of these questions is Ben. Kind of. And I will say the Benjamin Ayres name will not pop up here. So you don't have to. But what's going to happen is I'm going to give you clues. We'll go back and forth. We'll go like a head to head. So we'll start with Ben since you're our guest. I'm going to give you a clue and you have to figure out which famous Ben this is. So I have 3 possible clues. So the first clue is a little bit more difficult. If you don't get it based on that, I'll give you the second clue. So the first clue I give you, you get 3 points. If I have to give you the second clue, you drop down to 2 points. If I give you the third clue, which I feel is a give me, you get 1 point. And if no points, I don't know what to tell you. All right.
Okay.
So, Mr. Ayres, we'll start with you. Here's your first clue. Remembering that the answer is Ben. Boston. Okay. Boston is your first clue.
I was going to, even before you started, right before you said it, I was going to say Ben Affleck.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Whoa!
Kristin, your first clue is yes and.
Ben Schwartz.
That is also correct. Listen, I put a lot of time into these second.
Sorry, Kev.
You are tied.
All right. So to go back, Ben Schwartz is a big improv guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Did you guys? What's that?
I said we love him. I mean, Kev and I are improvisers, so Ben Schwartz is like
your god.
If improv can have celebrities, it's Ben Schwartz.
Oh, he's beyond that.
A good friend of mine that I'm working with now has done a couple shows with him. I think he just said they sold out Radio City Hall, and
I was at that show. It was awesome.
Colton Dunn, you know Colton?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Colton. Dude, Colton Dunn's the best. Oh my god,
he's so good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. There were 6,000 people, and it still remained incredibly intimate. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just like that's awesome. Literally so special for any improviser that like Ben, like that they had that many people want to come to a show of improv, and they didn't change what you would do in like a 50 house theater versus 6,000. Like that is awesome.
There's nothing worse than having the troupe on stage bigger than the audience in front of you, but man,
all right, that's great. Oh yeah, he mentioned it to me. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
No. I don't want to interrupt. Especially, it was an amazing show. So
yeah, and I think he's done a few of them since, but I hadn't seen. I wasn't aware of Ben Schwartz's improv stuff, so I just like learned about it the other day. Anyway, go ahead.
Great, it's great.
Yeah, he has a couple improv shows on Netflix as well. I think there's like 3 of them up there. Middleditch and Schwartz are up there. So, but it's just okay. So this is for Mr. Ayres here. This one, I'm going to start with this one first. Franks and Beans. Franks and Beans.
Franks and Beans. Okay.
Ooh.
Can go to the next one.
Go to the next one.
Go to the next one.
The next one doesn't get easier. I will say that. Nipples. We all have them. Nipples.
Franks and Beans and nipples.
Kristin knows it.
Do you?
Yeah.
You can't steal.
Ben.
You can't steal. But the last.
Ben.
What is it?
Ben.
It is Ben. That's correct. It's Tom. It's something Tama Ben. I'll give you the last one. I think this one is the easy steal for you. Zoolander.
Oh, really? Nipples? Wait, Franks and Beans? I guess I know it's Spiller.
Yeah.
Franks and Beans. What's the Franks and Beans?
That was There's Something About Mary, where he zipped himself up.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nipples would meet the parents.
Yeah.
All right, Kristin, you ready?
All right, that was a good one.
Always.
5.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Time's up on that one. Yep. Second clue.
Give me another clue.
Brick.
Brick?
Yeah. I knew you wouldn't get
Ben Folds 5.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, nice. Brick.
You are ahead by 1 point because of the way the points. I'm not going to be able to put that in my head. All right. Here we go. Bifocals.
Franklin?
Correct. That is right.
Oh!
The inventor of the bifocals is Benjamin Franklin. See, this is also educational.
It's very educational. Our programming is very helpful to people.
All right, Kristin. This one's a little vague, and I apologize. The first one, anyhow. More famous brother.
More famous brother. More famous brother.
It's not grammar, but
go on. What's the second one?
Mr. Feeney.
It's from Boy Meets World. What's it, Ben? It's Ben.
Yeah, but if you don't know the name, you don't get the point.
What is his name?
What would you do if I sang out of tune?
That's the more famous brother.
Yeah.
Stand up and walk out on me.
Last hint would be Topanga. So you're
I know who it is. I just can't remember his name.
That is Savage.
Yes,
thank you.
correct. Stolen point. Stolen point. You guys are tied with the stolen point there. This one's a little tough.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. The rest of them, I feel there is a cliff for Ben's, and they really do. Not that the talent level falls off, but my knowledge falls off.
Sure.
So this, Ben, sir. This is for you, Benjamin Ayres.
Oh yeah, I thought that was it. I was like, sir. Who's the sir? Yeah, okay.
No,
that's it.
That's the clue.
Oh,
sir.
that is it.
He is knighted.
Oh, he is knighted. Oh, Mr. Kingsley.
Correct. Yes. Very good.
Yeah.
Kristin, this is where you're younger than me, and it might.
Youth? I'm like 3 years younger than you.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot. You're more than 3 years younger than me. Okay. Roots. Yes.
Roots.
This is like my generation saw this miniseries.
All I thought about Roots is the band. So I don't.
Definitely.
But also, like,
3 years.
I remember that commercial coming on all the time for the series Roots.
Yeah.
And it was like Kunta Kinte.
So that's all you need to do is know who's in it. How about this? This is not going to help you, I feel. Pippin.
No, I don't know. Is it the dude from Roots?
He is in Roots. He is in Pippin. How about this? This might get you, but maybe not. Zoobilee Zoo.
Zoobilee Zoo.
Yes.
Zoobilee Zoo. Does that give me a point for knowing the theme song?
No, pride. I have great pride in you now.
I watched the crap out of that show.
Can you think of a Ben that might be?
Ben Berend.
That's a friend of ours now. Benjamin Ayres, you want to steal? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know it.
I don't know.
That would be Ben Vereen.
Come on.
I barely had to look that one up. All right.
This is ridiculous.
I have
I don't know.
one
One
final
more.
question for Benjamin Ayres here. Slapstick. That's vague. I'm not.
Okay, no. Hill.
Benny Hill is correct.
Hill. Yeah.
My next
Benny
clue
Hill.
is short, bald co-star. That was my next clue. All right, Kristin. I don't know where we are for points. I'm going to say if you can get it on the first one, you guys tie, and I'm proud of you both. If not,
Okay.
you're off the show, Chris. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, fine.
Game show.
Game show. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Game show.
Yep. His name is literally in the name of the game show.
The Wheel of Ben.
Bueller.
That's my next clue. Bueller is the next clue.
Oh.
Bueller.
Oh, what is his
Bueller.
name?
Can you see my notes through my glasses?
He has
No,
that
but it says-
eyeglasses commercial too. I don't know his name. Go
Deadpan.
ahead. I'll give it to
Deadpan
him.
monotone.
It's you, Mr. Ayres. Steal it.
Ben Stein.
In Ben Stein's money. Correct. That is correct. I did have a tiebreaker, which we're not going to need.
No, Ben won.
It was good. It was going to have me singing "Remember Me" from Coco, and it was going to be Benjamin Bratt, but we're not going to get there.
No
so-
one needs to see that.
No. My daughter will be like, "Dad, please, you're embarrassing." Ben, thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Chatting.
Like,
Yeah, thanks, guys.
listening to the show too. You're the best, man.
Well,
Yeah,
listen, I
you're welcome
appreciate you guys
anytime.
reaching out, and thank you guys. So I know you guys. You got a fun activity that you're about to go do with the family. Is that
I'm a little
correct?
jealous of Kevin.
Yeah, we even escape the room or escape room. I say the room, and people go, "It's just escape room." But yeah,
It's
escape
awesome.
room plans. Yeah.
Hey, have you played Exit the game?
No.
Oh.
This is a really fun one. So you can only play it once. You buy these games, and they sometimes take, with your 9-year-olds, probably sometimes it'll take you a couple days, sometimes it'll take you 2 hours. You kind of have a couple hours to get out of it, but it's the game itself, the box that it comes in, the clues are all around it. And you open it, it starts on page 1. You're trapped on an island. This is the first clue, go. And you just have all these pieces, and you slowly figure out how to get off the island. It's incredible.
Oh,
Oh,
fun.
neat.
Sometimes you gotta cut it up, and so it's like an exit game. But
Okay.
it's like, I think you kind of play at home. Exit the game. Yeah, check those out. There's a bunch of them.
Ooh.
All right. Well, awesome.
That's
And
awesome.
in honor of all theater actors everywhere, since we have like a Chekhov's gun situation here, you've got a guitar behind you. And I feel like if you don't pick it up and do something with it, even if you just strum it, I feel like unless it's just a model, which would be hilarious as you get closer, it's real
just
little.
this tiny guitar. The perspective
It's
was
a
correct.
tiny little guitar. The reason I have it is because I have to. It's always hard when your character is a rock star,
Yeah. I know
You're
the
like,
I know
okay.
the feeling.
and you're like, but he's not anymore. He's
Yeah.
kind of like giving it up, but he might,
Yeah.
come back to it. And maybe he plays guitar a little bit in the movie, maybe he doesn't. We sort of had to figure that thing out. But there were like some songs that I might potentially have to play. So the
Oh.
director's son is unbelievable. He's one of those guys you can just name any song. He's like, oh yeah, that's in this. Like he can tell you what key it's in.
Yeah.
So I've just had to learn. You're probably not going to hear it through. It doesn't matter. But there are a couple songs I've had to learn for the movie.
Oh,
I can
cool.
play a little bit. I'm like sitting around a campfire, Johnny, major chords. That's about.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, this guy is not just Johnny chords. He's got to be able to play really well. So I've had to
Yeah.
practice a lot so that I can play some songs on camera, maybe.
Maybe.
So yeah.
So,
That's why.
so if they do a cut into the hands, it's you. We know it's actually you, not somebody else.
Well, that's just it. I didn't want to have that. Like I remember having to play magician on the show, and it was great. Part of it was he's got to be able to roll a coin.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, well, what we'll do is, so if you look at this frame, they would have his hand here, me talking
awesome.
on this, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna figure it out. So I sat there. They gave me the coin, and I was just become obsessive with it. For like, I mean, I only had like a week before I had to film it, so it's not like, you know, I had a bunch of time to work on this thing. But I got it good enough that I could do it, which I've now used in other movies. Like I'll use it like like that.
Is it on your resume now? Like that's special talent. I can do this coin thing.
I can do this coin. But it was, you know, like again, you're like, so you know, he's a professional magician. So like, okay, so I'm playing this professional magician who's on stage doing these huge things.
Yeah.
And I'm just learning them for the first time. And there's a crowd of people.
Yeah.
And it's really nerve-wracking to stand in front of a bunch of people and perform it. And I know the cameras can cut, but you want to do it perfect every time.
Of course.
So, you know, I've worked with a magician who showed me how to do these 3 tricks and how to do it. And you want to look like you've done it so many times that you're not super self-conscious and aware of it. But that's all I'm thinking is don't F this up.
Yeah.
Because you want the shock and surprise from the audience every time. And, you know, even though they're a bunch of, it's like some background performers, people you know, I want it to feel real every time.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the best part about, again, going back to circling back to being an actor, is all of a sudden you get to do these different professions and you get to learn these things.
I love it. That's my favorite part of like when you get to sit down first with the script and be like, oh my gosh, this person's a palm reader. I'm gonna 100% learn how to read palms. Like I did that for a play, and then like just all these. I love it so much because that's obviously why we all like performing, is because you don't get to just be one thing all the time. And that's like the exciting part of it. I love it so much. So much.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the best little chit chat.
Yeah. Great little chit chat.
Go escape the room.
Yeah. You can, good luck getting out of there.
Yeah.
If you never see me again, it's Kristin's show. Yeah.
Finally.
Good luck editing it, Kristin. Thank you so much, Ben. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks guys. I really appreciate it. Have a good one. Okay.